The time by Carrie Chris is 6 p.m. Time for CBX Business News. The business news headlines is brought to you by CBX Wealth Management, making more possible.
Market resilience, regional warnings and tariffs in full force. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Thursday, August 7, 2025. I am Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast, locally, the Jamaica Stock Exchange shows signs of resilience despite a slump, with new listings and institutional activity pointing to recovery, says Managing Director. On the regional front, ECLAC warns of persistent low growth in Latin America and the Caribbean through 2026, highlighting structural challenges to development. And over on the global stage, U.S. President Donald Trump's midnight tariffs on over 90 countries take effect today. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
We get it! We get the big contract! 50,000 units a month for 3 years! Great! Won't need help.
If you are a business owner that requires capital for the expansion of your business, talk to a registered broker today to find out more about listing your company on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, an efficient alternative to other financing options.
Thank God for the Jamaica Stock Exchange Junior Market.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
We're here to open a savings account for my son John. I really want him to start saving and managing his own money.
And I need for Safe to visit my father in New York.
Okay, based on what you said and our risk assessment, he will qualify for simplified customer due diligence requirements. I'll need your ID, proof of income, TRN, and John's ID as well.
Okay, here you go.
Opening an account is easier than you think using Simplified Customer Due Diligence Requirements, also called CDD.
Serious about building Jamaica? Build with solid PVC pipes and conduits, manufactured in Jamaica by Phosphate, made to the highest standard. Solid PVC pipes and conduits are made in Jamaica by Jamaicans for Jamaicans. Available at hardware stores across the island. Take some solid advice, support our economy, and build well. Buy solid PVC pipes. Next time, ask for solid brand PVC pipes and conduits. Call our distributors or Phosphate at 876-937-5099.
It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Don't never ever ever wanna calm down. No, no, no.
Mikey, is what sweet you saw?
Yeah, dear babes. Where's the catty? Yeah, and you go party tonight.
Party? You secure your future yet? Careless.
Did you know that over time the stock market has provided a reliably high return on investments? Be sure to contact a licensed stockbroker for more information on this exciting investment opportunity.
Taking care of business, Mikey?
Yeah, Cathy. I'm securing my future. Want to come look over my stock portfolio?
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
Your garden coming along well.
Thanks, man. You know, it's a long time I've been working at it.
I can see that. I saw your mail by the gate, so I'll pick it up for you. But tell me something. Why are you still receiving dividend checks by mail?
What do you mean about that?
You need to give JCSD a mandate.
You know, me hear about the mandate them. I'm going over there right now.
A mandate means giving instructions to the Jamaica Central Securities Depository Limited, JCSD, relating to the handling of your dividend or interest payment. There are 3 types of mandates. The first is a bank mandate. The second is a hold mandate. Lastly, we have what we call a third-party mandate, with which the investor may wish to send their dividend or interest to someone other than the parties on their account or institution of their choice.
Let's all get fit. This summer set drip. Hip dips and split. Forward in the mind, let's get healthy with it. Sometimes the body's so hard, but the body wants it. And then your head is so home, and it's so like this. So we gotta go 1, 2, 3. One more now. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. One more now. 1, 2, 3. One more now. 1, 2, 3, go.
Me grew up and see my granny and save her money under her mattress.
Exactly. Okay. Your grandmother house never burned down?
No, oh, you reached that, so? That was a one-off thing.
That could have happened to anybody. That's why you must put your money in a financial institution and protect it.
What if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in.
What you mean?
JDIC is a financial safety net which provides coverage for your money in case your financial institution fails.
Explain that to me.
Alright, because of the JDIC deposit insurance scheme, once you put your money into a financial institution like a bank or building society, you can get coverage of up to a maximum of $1.2 million per deposit or per financial institution if it should fail. And for even more information, you can visit their new website at www.jdic.org, and you can follow the social media platforms for the latest information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Caribbean flavors and fragrances. We started out as a small family-owned business, and now we're a part of a large group of companies. Being listed on the stock exchange allows us a certain prestige. It also speaks to accountability and transparency. We had some fears about getting our information in the public domain, but once we contacted the Jamaica Stock Exchange, who have the knowledge and the experience to guide us, we were comfortable with getting into the process. If you have any doubts about being listed, just give the Jamaica Stock Exchange a call. They'll be very happy to take you through the process and also provide you with information that you may need. Make that call now.
You may have fears in listing on the main market or the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Whatever those fears are, we can help you to allay them. Give us a call today. Our friendly professional staff will help you through the process. Let us have that conversation. Give us that call.
Fesco started from 5 shareholders who believed that they could execute a fuel company as good as or as better than any multinational. The director shareholders always believed that the dealers within our network should be owners of the company. They believe that staff should be owners of the company. And specifically also believe that the public should become shareholders. That cannot be facilitated by a bank loan. Our experience so far has translated into additional customers. Our transparency has allowed us to access credit easier and at better rates. So if you're a private company thinking about growing your profits, having better access to capital, I really think you should consider listing on the junior or the main market. Go ahead, have that conversation as soon as possible. We did it and we're very happy.
The local news is brought to you by Darriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments.
Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with a look at market performance ahead of Jamaica's general elections. Despite June's disappointing slide, where market capitalization fell 2.29% month-on-month to Jamaican 1.68 trillion, and average stock prices dropped 1.5%, with 72% of main market listings trading lower, the Jamaica Stock Exchange JSE is showing signs of deeper underlying resilience rather than a crisis in confidence. Speaking exclusively with CBX Business News, Managing Director of the JSE, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, says the market's first half volatility was not without context, pointing to broader economic trends, local developments, and transitional corporate challenges. When there is uncertainty in the economy, it will inevitably reflect in the market, she explained. Both external factors and internal factors have influenced current investor behavior and corporate profitability, she added. While acknowledging the downturn, Dr. Street Forrest also emphasized that the internal disruptions are temporary and that the market's core remains stable. Crucially, the JSE Managing Director pointed to renewed activity in the capital markets that signals a rebound in investor sentiment. She says, they're seeing an increase in the number of new issues coming to market when compared to the same period in 2024. She also noted that institutional investors are continuing to make strategic moves, even amid short-term caution. Looking to the second half of the year, Dr. Street Forrest reinforced the JSE's mission to maintain market stability and transparency. As we move past election-related uncertainty and as companies improve earnings performance, we anticipate a more robust second half. Our role is to ensure the infrastructure, regulation, and market confidence remain intact, and we are doing just that, she stated. Two of Jamaica's most respected financial leaders, CEO of JMMB Group, Keith Duncan, and Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, Dr. Marlene Street Forrest, have been named among this year's recipients of the Order of Jamaica, OJ, the nation's fifth highest honor. The recognition, published in the 2025 National Honors and Awards list, acknowledges their exceptional contributions to Jamaica's economic and financial development and underscores the increasing importance of private sector leadership in shaping national progress. Duncan, a driving force behind JMMB's regional expansion and financial inclusion strategy, is credited with transforming the company into one of the Caribbean's most diversified financial groups. His leadership has emphasized client empowerment, digital banking, and sustainable finance, contributing to greater accessibility of financial services across the region. Meanwhile, Dr. Street Forrest, the first woman to serve as managing director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, has led a remarkable era of modernization and international acclaim. Under her stewardship, the JSE earned global recognition, including being ranked the world's top-performing stock market by Bloomberg in 2015 and again in 2018. Her work has also included pioneering reforms in market regulation, digital trading, and investor education. Both leaders have championed transparency, innovation, and long-term resilience in the Jamaican economy, values that continue to anchor confidence in the financial and capital markets. Their appointments to receive the Order of Jamaica will be formally confirmed at the National Honors and Awards ceremony on National Heroes Day, October 20, 2025 at King's House. In other news, in a bold move to strengthen Jamaica's food security while cutting energy costs, Jamaica Broilers Group has officially commissioned a 6.5 megawatt liquefied natural gas (LNG) cogeneration engine at its Best Dressed Chicken facility, marking a landmark US $8 million investment in the country's clean energy and agricultural future. The Hyundai-powered engine, which also features a heat recovery steam generator to support poultry production, is designed to significantly reduce the company's reliance on the national grid, increase energy efficiency, and slash harmful emissions by over 70%. Speaking at the Best Dressed Chicken Renewed Energy launch on Tuesday, Jamaica Broilers Group President and CEO Christopher Levy says the newly commissioned LNG-powered cogeneration plant represents far more than just an energy upgrade. It's a strategic move to correct economic imbalances and ensure Jamaica can remain competitive in food production.
This is a very important investment for us. The challenges and what I call the imbalance of our economy in Jamaica compared to some of the other economies worldwide requires investment like this that's not mainstream chicken. And what it does, it allows us to be competitive in this environment. And I think it's very important to understand that as we look at and we tour this investment, which is roughly about $8 million invested here over the last couple of years, US dollars, thank you. The purpose of it is to make our products more affordable. The purpose of it is what we like to call the food independence of Jamaica.
Jamaica Broilers Group President and CEO Christopher Levy. And now for news from the Bank of Jamaica on how the currency markets traded today. In Thursday's trading session, the US dollar is selling for $161.25, the Canadian for $117.74, the pound sterling for $214.57, and the going rate for the euro is $186.46. And now for news from the JSE on how the local equities markets traded today. In Thursday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 107 stocks, of which 29 advanced, 50 declined, and 28 traded firm. The winners, ISP Finance Services, Honeybun 1982, Iron Rock Insurance Company, and Epley Caribbean Property Fund SCC. The losers, Cygnus Credit Investments 10% preference shares Class H, Radio Jamaica, Salada Foods Jamaica, and Jetcon Corporation. The main index declined by 930.06 points, or 0.30%, to close at 306,813.04 points. The Junior Market Index declined by 12.63 points, or 0.36%, to close at 3,460.05 points.
And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by Carrie Chris, Regional Ratings, Global Standard.
In today's Market Education Feature, we're explaining the term payment in kind, or PIK. Payment in kind refers to the practice of settling obligations with goods or services instead of cash. But in the world of finance, the term takes on a more specific meaning. A payment in kind, PIK, security is a financial instrument such as a bond, note, or preferred share that pays interest or dividends in the form of additional securities rather than cash. These are commonly used by companies that want to conserve cash, especially during leveraged buyouts or major expansions. By issuing a PIK note, a company can delay cash payments to investors and instead issue more securities. In return, those investors usually receive enhanced returns to compensate for the delay and added risk.
The Market Education Feature was brought to you by Carrie Chris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us for the regional news. It's up next.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. The Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC, has projected continued low growth for the region, warning that Latin America and the Caribbean remain trapped in a prolonged period of economic stagnation. According to its latest annual report, Economic Survey of Latin America and the Caribbean 2025, Resource Mobilization to Finance Development, real GDP is expected to grow just 2.2% in 2025 and 2.3% in 2026, barely improving on previous years. The new projections slightly revised upwards from April's estimate of 2%, reflect stronger than expected performance in the first quarter of 2025. However, the United Nations regional body cautions that structural challenges and global uncertainty continue to weigh on the recovery. This period is being marked by weak domestic demand, subdued private consumption, and limited external momentum, says ECLAC Executive Secretary at a press briefing to launch the report. Meanwhile, the Caribbean, excluding Guyana, is expected to grow 1.8% in 2025 and 1.7% in 2026, facing reduced U.S. tourism demand, high energy and transport costs, and climate vulnerability. Meanwhile, Guyana is expected to maintain its high growth trajectory due to strong investments in hydrocarbons. Comptroller of the Bahamas Inland Revenue, Shonda Strawn, is moving to clear the air on the government's recent efforts to regulate the growing short-term vacation rental market amid public concerns that new tax measures are being imposed on local property owners. Speaking during a press briefing earlier today, Comptroller Strawn explained that notices sent to homeowners were not an indication of new taxes being levied, but rather part of a broader data collection effort aimed at identifying individuals operating in the short-term rental space, particularly on platforms such as Airbnb. According to Strawn, Bahamian individuals earning less than $100,000 annually from vacation rentals are not required to register for VAT or obtain a business license.
Everybody who got the notice, it doesn't mean that we're planning on taxing you, because again, on average, Bahamians do not pay taxes in the short-term vacation rental arena. And if you look at an example, I did a quick example just so you get a feel. Again, if you're, just like how it is for all businesses, if your turnover is over 100,000, then yes, you need to be registered for VAT, and that would mean that you need a business license. But if your turnover in the whole area where you rent your property is under the $100,000 threshold, then no, we're not looking for you to register for VAT or have a business license unless you want to, for some reason or the other.
On the other hand, the Inland Revenue Comptroller says those earning more than $100,000 must comply with the same business requirements as any other commercial operation in the country.
However, if you have a turnover in excess of $100,000, then, like everybody else with that type of turnover, you should be registered for VAT. And if you're registered for VAT, you have to have a business license.
Comptroller of the Bahamas Inland Revenue, Shonda Strawn. In other news, the government of St. Lucia has formally tasked the National Insurance Corporation, NIC, with developing proposals for the establishment of a national unemployment insurance program. Speaking during a press briefing on Monday, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre explained that the initiative is designed to provide financial support to individuals who lose their jobs involuntarily, helping them access unemployment benefits while they seek new employment.
The government has commissioned the National Insurance Corporation to present proposals for the establishment of an unemployment insurance program. This program will allow persons who have become involuntarily unemployed to receive unemployment benefits. The government is committed to establishing an unemployment insurance program which will be implemented alongside an active labor market policy. The goal of the active labor market policy is intended to assist the unemployed in securing work placements, to encourage entrepreneurship and small business development, to provide basic work training for, in particularly disadvantaged groups, and to incentivize employers to provide staff training.
Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 18 securities, of which 3 advanced, 9 declined, and 6 traded firm. Today's winners are Point Lissa's Industrial Port Development Corporation, Republic Financial Holdings, and Answer McCall, while leading the losers are NCB Financial Group, Unilever Caribbean, the West Indian Tobacco Company, and Trinidad and Tobago NGL. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All TNT Index advanced by 3.29 points to close at 1,454.12. The Composite Index declined by 1.14 points to close at 1,006.87. The Cross-Listed Index declined by 0.83 points to close at 73.97. The SME Index declined by 0.01 points to close at 96.77. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment with Nielsen Rose is up next.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. In the international news today, the Bank of England, BOE, has lowered interest rates by 25 basis points, dropping it to 4% and marking the lowest level since March 2023. The decision came after a rare two-round vote, reflecting deep divisions within the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC. 5 members supported the cut, while 4 preferred to hold rates steady. Governor Andrew Bailey described the move as finely balanced, emphasizing that future rate reductions will be gradual and careful. This historic split vote highlights the tensions between persistent inflation now and expected to peak at 4% in September, and signs of economic strain, including pressure on the labor market following increases in payroll taxes and the minimum wage. Despite these challenges, the BOE slightly raised its 2025 growth forecast to 1.25%. The central bank also signaled possible adjustment to its bond sales program next month, citing stress in long-term gilt markets. Financial markets anticipate one more rate cut this year, with rates projected to settle around 3.5% by 2026. China's exports rose 7.2% year-on-year in July to US $321.8 billion, surpassing projections of a 5.4% increase and accelerating from June's 5.8% growth. This marked the fastest pace since April, driven by a temporary easing of tariff tensions ahead of the August deadline. Chinese manufacturers took advantage of a fragile truce with Washington to boost shipments, especially to Southeast Asia, before stricter U.S. duties on transshipped goods take effect. By destination, exports increased to Taiwan 19.2%, Asian countries 16.6%, Australia 14.8%, the EU 9.2%, South Korea 4.6%, and Japan 2.4%. However, exports to the US declined for the 4th straight month, falling 21.7% in July after a 16.1% drop in June. By commodity, rare earth exports surged 21.4% to 5,994.3 tons. Semiconductor shipments rose 16% for the first 7 months of 2025 total exports grew 6.1% year-on-year, reaching US $2.13 trillion. President Donald Trump is set to sign an executive order that will allow alternative assets such as private equity, real estate, and cryptocurrencies to be included in 401k retirement plans. The order directs the U.S. Secretary of Labor to review fiduciary guidelines under the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, ERISA, potentially paving the way for broader access to private market investments in defined contribution plans. This move marks a significant win for private asset managers who have long advocated for greater inclusion of assets, alternative assets that is, in retirement portfolios. The initiative builds on earlier guidance issued during Trump's first term and later affirmed under the Biden administration. The executive order comes as the major financial firms like BlackRock and Empower prepare to launch retirement products with allocations to private investments, reflecting growing interest in diversifying retirement savings. Americans currently hold about $8.7 trillion in 401k assets. At the stroke of midnight last night, President Donald Trump announced the activation of sweeping new tariffs via Truth Social, declaring, "It's midnight. Billions of dollars in tariffs are now flowing into the United States of America." The tariffs, part of a broader reciprocal trade strategy, target imports from over 90 countries and mark one of the most dramatic shifts in U.S. trade policy in decades. The new duties range from a baseline of 10% to as high as 41%, with some of the steepest rates hitting Syria 41%, Laos and Myanmar 40%, Switzerland 39%, after failing to secure a last-minute deal, Canada 35% on goods not covered by the USMCA, India and Brazil 50% due to geopolitical and legal disputes. Trump framed the move as patriotic correction to decades of trade abuse, claiming the tariffs have already generated $100 billion in revenue since April. However, economists warn of potential fallout for U.S. consumers and global supply chains. Negotiations with China remain ongoing, with a looming August 12 deadline. Failure to reach a deal could trigger tariffs as high as 245% on certain Chinese goods. And those were your international business stories. After the break, join us for your recap.
And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, JSE shows signs of resilience with new listings and institutional activity pointing to recovery, says Managing Director. Regionally, ECLAC warns of persistent low growth in Latin America and the Caribbean through 2026. And internationally, Trump's midnight tariffs on over 90 countries take effect today. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of Nielsen Rose and the entire production team, I'm Rochelle Moncrief, thanking you for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.